Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I've got a video here today that and I think you're going to find amazing. And it's posted onto my Facebook here yesterday, and then followed up with the proof, comments, screenshots, videos, etc. And I'm gonna jump right in. I posted. I said this woman told me that she was going to go into the oil show parties when she was a minor, and that the men preferred the younger girls. The parties were in the underground homes. Okay, and so I have the comments to back all this up. And my first one here, I said, she told me I was a former escort, and I went to almost every oil show party in Midland, Odessa from 2008 to 2019. I was 16 to 17 at the time of the 2010 oil show party when Angie told me about another young girl that was murdered for refusing to prostitute, and they would prefer us younger girls. I then told her about Angie telling me about telling me that 11 p.m. each night of the oil show party, she would put me on hold and then go get her pill that would make her sleepy. They were drugging all the women and girls there. This woman confirmed this was going on. I told the ex-wife about this, and she told me it was an antidepressant pill. She knew exactly what kind of pill it was. She didn't say how she knew this. Obviously, that's three people. Obviously, there were many other women and girls there, and I'm sure this might be embarrassing, but regardless, they need to report this to law enforcement since these underground parties were connected with crimes and murder. So I'm going to show you the screenshot. This woman, I kept her name out because I was sincerely worried that they would threaten her or even kill her. Okay, and she says, I follow you. I believe you've been taken there as a former escort. I read that to you. I went to every oil show party in Midland, Odessa from 2008, 2019 till I was taken in November. She was kidnapped. I got away the second time, unsuccessful, thanks to my sister. It's another story. Yes, I believe it. I was 16 to 17 at the time, and they would prefer us younger girls other than the elder women as well at the oil show parties. Okay, so that's only one person that's documented, but it's real easy to go to Facebook and prove she said that. I tried to get Angie to report this murder that happened at the 2010 oil show parties, but she was afraid and told me that high-level police were there. A little over a year later, I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut. These police had accidentally started a security camera and caught themselves covering it up. It took 6 years and a $2,000 reward before I could get them identified. They're some of my top suspects for the police at the oil show parties. I wonder why they don't report this themselves. See, Angie told me she was afraid to report that murder or death of that young girl, and to the police, and that high-level police were at the parties. And then a year later, I'm shot, and these police get caught on camera. They caught themselves, is what happened. Is that they tried to disable the security camera and accidentally started it. And their names here, it's not coming in real clear for whatever reason. Rosie Rodriguez, April Chandler, Tony Dickey, Greg Chatwell, Greg Nelson, Marty Barrett, Chad Simpson, the late Chad Simpson, late Mike Naylor, two of them are dead, Mark Gilliam, Michael Glick, John Woodward, and that was Martin County Sheriff. Okay, that's now a convicted felon. Okay, another story there. Tisha Brumley told me that her sister used to go to the oil show parties and confirmed they were in the underground homes, and based on old Google Maps, one of those homes is located in my backyard. Jessica told me that she went to many oil show parties, and there were more than one girl that was raped or murdered if she didn't do what they wanted to do. Okay, and so once again, I'm taking screenshots here from Facebook or wherever, private message or text or whatever, and that way it's not my word against her word. Tish Ann Wilkinson Brunley said, I've had friends been involved in the oil show parties. They're exactly what you say. They are underground homes. She said her sister used to go to them. Jessica Lee Hadley says, I've been to 2,000 little show parties. I'll tell you what, there's more than one girl that was raped or murdered because she didn't do whatever they wanted her to do. And this is just showing you the old Google Maps where you look up my address, 3802 Fair Circle, and you look at my backyard, you see a large bunker, a building. You go to the satellite screen, you don't see it. That's because it's underground. That's one of the four underground homes. And I notified the city of Midland about this, and this got deleted from Google Maps. Sure did. How's that for proof? I've got print screens. I have proof of it. I believe the people that were going to the underground parties, the oil show parties and the other parties, were parking in the Midland Home Depot parking lot and then going underground somewhere in the store before coming back to my home via a tunnel that I found on historical Google Earth maps. This can still be seen on Google. On July 2nd, 2019, I met Homeland Security at the Home Depot store behind my house, and I showed them where I believe this tunnel was located. 2 weeks later, the ground was dug up and concrete was poured. It was exceedingly clear they were covering up the crimes and murders connected to these underground homes and parties. On another day, I was in Home Depot, and I told the clerk my story of being shot by somebody under my home, and she blurted out, "If you happen to see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, then it's because we're stalking." I took this as a clue, and it makes sense that a lot of people would need a lot of parking, and they would need some excuse to explain that. Oh, we're all just stalking all these 100 cars in the parking lot at night. Another woman told me that she'd driven by Home Depot late at night, and sometimes she would see a lot of cars in the parking lot. Not just a few cars stalking, This is a big party going on, and where is it at? In the underground home in my backyard. You can see on this Google Earth historical maps where they cut the ditch coming directly at my house. And in the backyard is one of them underground homes I showed you a minute ago. Like I said, I was here showing Homeland behind the Home Depot store back here, in July 2nd, 2019, where that was. And 2 weeks later, they're digging up the ground, pouring concrete. I got it on video. That day was the same day that then Vice President Pence flew back to Washington for an emergency. Oh, we gotta have an emergency. And Homeland said, I have an emergency. Hold on before we can meet you. At the same time Homeland has an emergency, Pence has an emergency. I think they were working together. Pence had been here a few weeks earlier meeting with oil company leaders, and I wondered if oil company leaders hadn't, offered him a donation or a bribe to help cover up these crimes and murders connected with the oil show parties. This guy told me that he mentioned the basement under the Home Depot store to a friend that he knows, and she warned him, be careful who you talk to about that. It's dangerous to talk about that. I believe that is, and they'll break into your home, cut your phone lines, and shoot you, and then have a secret police gang cover up your murder. Yeah, it's real dangerous to report crimes to the Midland police. Rob Bid says, I mentioned the basement being under the Midland Home Depot to a girl I know is bad on meth. Her first response was, how do you know this? Be careful who you're telling this to and how that's dangerous. You need to be careful who you're talking to about that. That's just one of many people, folks. One of many people. This woman told me there were 4 3-bedroom, $1 million underground homes buried at least 25 foot deep, were near my home, and they were having pizza or pedophile parties there. Several other people have confirmed these underground homes and supporting evidence found on Google Maps. I showed you a minute ago. That's the thing. We're talking about children at these parties. Here, let me play this.
I asked them about the pizza parties. They said they're not called pizza parties, but I know what you're talking about.
Right. The pedophile parties.
Yes.
And then and see, a couple weeks, you probably read all this before, but a couple weeks after I got out of the hospital, that ex-wife comes by my home, and she says, you don't know how many lives you ruined with your idiocy. And of course, my idiocy was staying home and minding my own business. I'm shot inside my home. And but what she was saying was a lot of people were here, and they're going to have their lives ruined. And
you know how many feet that gun pushed through?
That
ground it was, because he said that these houses are 25 feet under, at least 25 exactly.
At least 20. You couldn't dig that with a backhoe or a shovel. That's a huge dig. You can listen to the whole phone call on $1 Million Underground Facilities on my YouTube channel. I also got it on TikTok. I found a Lego toy laying on top of my HVAC filter that mounts up into my attic in my hallway that I was sure wasn't there when I installed it a few months earlier. This is when I started suspecting that the people in the attic included children. Remember, I had 100 videos of burglar alarms going in the attic. I saw a young Hispanic guy in my attic. I documented 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic. It's not a what if, could be. But like I said, then here in the hallway, you can see here's a ladder. I was changing the filter. It goes up in the attic. There's a tube up there that you can just pop right off. But this filter mounts up in there, and I found this Lego toy laying on there, and that's when it's like, oh, there's kids here, and that's what this is about, is the kids, connected with these tunnels, underground homes and these parties. Flo Rivas told me that her son and his friends heard children under the floor of the Home Depot store behind my home. It's believed, and out of the bathroom actually, it's believed there is or was a tunnel going from this store to my home and used for the underground oil show parties. I showed you a minute ago where I found that on historical Google Earth maps, as you could see where the ground was cut. That's right where the bathroom is. And here's what she says: my son works at Home Depot and his co-workers heard kids underneath the bathroom floor. That's right where that tunnel is. That's right where they're pouring concrete right after I showed Homeland. Okay. And on 9/21/18, a woman named Ashley Alberg came by my home. She's a neighbor that resides at 381 Fairhaven, a couple blocks over. I didn't know her, so I started up my voice recorder and put it in my pocket. She didn't know that. I secretly recorded it. During a conversation, she tells me there were kids buried under her home down the street. I attached this recording, immediately emailed it to the chief of police, Seth Herman, but then I got a notice saying that he had blocked my emails. I then forwarded it to the mayor, city council, DA, AG, and sheriff. Okay, and this is the email, September 27, 2018. Chief Herman, last Friday night, 9/21, the woman knocked on my kitchen window while I was standing at the sink, freaked me out, etc., etc. Same thing I said that I was just telling you about, okay? And so there's the proof that I emailed it, and then I find out that the chief of police, blocked my emails. It's kind of like sticking his fingers in their ears going, I don't hear nothing, don't tell me about crime, And here, I'm going to show you. I attached the recording of the woman telling me that children were buried under her home and emailed it to Chief Police Seth Herman, but got a notice back saying that he blocked my emails. I then forwarded this email that had that attachment to it to the then mayor, Jerry Morales, and city council members Lacey, Sparks, Love, Dufford, Hotchkiss, and Robnett. The only one that is still a council member is Dufford. A blind carbon copy Sheriff Painter, who's no longer alive, the Texas Rangers, DA Noda, the District Attorney Laura Noda, she's still our District Attorney here in Midland, and Attorney General Greg Paxton, and he's been on the news a lot here in Texas. As you can see, the subject line says, kids buried under a home at 3801 Fairhaven. I live on Fair Circle, that's Fairhaven, right down the street. I suspect this was ignored because of the name smearing done by the Midland Police Department since I've been saying that I was shot by people in the attic. As you know, there are many other homeowners now reporting to people in the attic, and multiple people documented saying that tunnels, underground homes are here with many details and a map. These are facts that have been hidden from the public by our police and press. That's what's been going on. They've had a lot of time to cover all this up. Actually, there was one year here a couple years ago, they found 2 kids buried 25 foot deep outside of Midland here. I wondered if they wasn't victims of this people in the attic. But I'll show you here, Buddy Webb, and it went to J. Ross Lacey. He was a city council member. Jeff Sparks, Jerry Morales, he was the mayor, former mayor. John B. Love III, Moore City Council. Scott Dufford, he's still a current city council member. Charlotte Hotchkiss, Spencer Robnett, and then his blind carbon copy. That means that the other ones on top didn't know I'd sent it to Sheriff Painter, who's no longer alive. Texas Rangers, Laura Nodoff, the district attorney, and Ken Paxton, our attorney general, the highest law enforcement officer in the state of Texas right now. And so kids connected to the tunnels, underground homes, people in the attic. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.